Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. My name is Callum, and if you had asked me a year ago what the most painful sentence a man could hear from his wife was, I would have said something dramatic, something you'd expect to see in movies. But real life is quieter, sharper, and cruel in ways you don't expect. It's not the screaming. It's not the tears. It's the calm moments where someone you love looks you in the eyes and drops a truth that changes everything. For us, it happened on a Wednesday, a very normal Wednesday. I came home from work the same way I always did, keys in the bowl, shoes by the mat, the faint smell of pasta from the kitchen. My wife, Marley, was standing at the counter, stirring sauce like she was rehearsing a conversation with herself. She had this soft smile, the kind people wear when they're about to say something they've already convinced themselves is reasonable. Hey, I said, kissing her on the cheek. She didn't turn to face me. Hey, Cal. There was a pause, a long one, the kind that takes up space in your chest. I leaned against the counter. Everything okay? She let out a slow breath. I need to tell you something. I wasn't scared then. I thought it was about money, work, or maybe something with her sister. But then she finally turned around. And right away I knew. Her eyes weren't soft. They were apologetic in a way that didn't feel like remorse, more like pity. I slept with someone last night, she said. 5 seconds. That's how long it took for reality to hit me. Not with anger, but with emptiness. Like someone had scooped out everything inside me in one clean motion. I didn't flinch, didn't yell, didn't even frown. I just stared at her while something inside me loosened, like a knot I'd been carrying for years suddenly came undone. Okay, I said quietly. Then I walked to the fridge, grabbed a bottle of water, twisted it open, and took a sip. She blinked. Did you hear me? Yeah, I said. Congrats. Her mouth fell open. Callum, what? What does that even mean? I shrugged. Means you've clearly made a choice. Good for you. That was the moment her confidence cracked. She wasn't expecting calm acceptance. She was expecting a meltdown, a confrontation, maybe even a fight she could blame on me later. But I didn't give her anything. Because here's the truth. Our marriage had been dying long before she slept with someone else. For the past year, Marley had grown distant. Not in the dramatic sense, no slammed doors or cold shoulders, but in the slow, quiet ways people stop loving each other. She stopped asking how my day was. She stopped touching me except out of obligation. Conversations became chores. Smiles became rare. She started spending more nights out with coworkers. More weekends at girls' wine nights. More hours scrolling through her phone instead of talking to me while we ate dinner in silence. I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know it had crossed the line. She stepped closer. Callum, say something real. Please. You want something real? I asked. Okay. I'm not surprised. Her face fell. Not surprised? What does that mean? It means, I said, setting my bottle down. You've been checked out for months. Whoever he is, he didn't show up yesterday. You've been opening that door for a long time. Tears welled in her eyes. It wasn't like that. Wasn't it? I said. Then why tell me now? Why today? Why like this? Her hands trembled. She leaned on the counter like her legs couldn't hold her. Because I thought honesty was the right thing. No, I said softly. Honesty would have been not doing it in the first place. That broke her. She looked down, tears dropping onto the floor. But here's the wild part. I didn't feel rage. I didn't feel betrayal. I felt clarity. Like her confession simply confirmed something I'd already accepted deep down. Our marriage wasn't a marriage anymore. We were two people sharing a house, pretending routine was love. She whispered, "Are you leaving?" I looked at her for a long moment. Her face, once my safe place, now felt like a stranger's. And yet there was something peaceful in finally seeing the truth without excuses. "I'm not leaving," I said. "Not yet. But I'm done being the only one trying." Her breath hitched. "Callum, please, don't talk like that." "Talk like what?" I asked. Like someone who finally realizes his wife fell out of love with him long before she fell into someone else's bed? She covered her face and sobbed. And that's when I felt the weight of everything. Not because she cheated, but because she only cried after getting caught by her own guilt. And quietly, almost to myself, I said, "This was coming for a long time, Marley." Marley wiped her eyes, but the tears kept coming, running down her cheeks in uneven lines. I'd seen her cry before, at movies, at her grandmother's funeral, when she spilled red wine on our white couch. But this was different. This was panic. This was fear. Not fear of losing me, I realized, but fear of the consequences of her choices finally showing up on her doorstep. "Can we please talk about this?" she whispered. "We are talking," I said. "For the first time in months, we're actually talking." She sank into a chair like her legs had given up. "It wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't plan it." "I know," I said. "People rarely plan to destroy something they claim to care about. But they do it anyway." She winced like the words were daggers. Maybe they were. Maybe they needed to be. "Who is he?" I asked, even though I wasn't sure I cared. She hesitated. "A guy from work. His name is Darren." I let out a breath. Not angry, just tired. "Of course it's someone from work. That place has become your second home lately." "It wasn't emotional," she said quickly. "It was just, I don't know. I was drunk. I felt lonely." "Lonely?" I raised an eyebrow. "You felt lonely while living with someone who begged you for months to talk, to connect, to fix what was breaking?" She covered her mouth, guilt flooding her expression. I know I pushed you away. I know I shut down. But I didn't expect this. I didn't expect you to be so calm. That's the part that scares you, isn't it?" I said softly. "That I'm not fighting for you." She didn't respond. She didn't have to. The silence said everything. The truth was, if she had confessed this 6 months ago, back when I was still stupidly hoping we'd find our way back, I probably would have been on the floor, begging for answers, for another chance. But now, the well was dry. You can't beg someone to love you back. At some point you just go numb. She whispered, "Callum, do you hate me?" I shook my head. "No. Hate takes passion. I don't have that anymore." She flinched, like I'd slapped her harder than any yell could have. I sat down across from her. "Here's what I want to know, Marley. Why tell me now? Why tell me today?" Her fingers twisted together nervously. "Because I felt sick pretending everything was fine. And I couldn't look at you without feeling like I was living someone else's life." "That's funny," I said. "Because for months I felt like I was living with someone else entirely." She let out a shaky sob. "I'm so sorry, Kel. I swear to God. I'm sorry." "Maybe you are," I said. "But sorry isn't glue. It doesn't fix what's already cracked beyond repair." For a moment neither of us spoke. The quiet filled the room like fog, settling into every corner. Finally, she whispered, "Do you want a divorce?" I stared at her. That question, the one she should have asked herself before she made a decision that detonated our marriage, now hung between us like a final test. And I realized something then. Divorce wasn't a threat anymore. It was an exit sign. "I don't know yet," I admitted. "But I know I can't pretend everything's normal." She nodded weakly, tears streaming again. "I'll do whatever it takes. Therapy, time apart, anything. Please just don't leave me like this." I leaned back, studying her face. She looked terrified. Not of losing me, but of losing the stability she'd taken for granted. I'd always been her safety net, her constant, her quiet, dependable shadow. And now she saw what life looked like if I stopped catching her. "I'm not leaving tonight," I said. "But things won't go back to how they were." She swallowed hard. "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to understand," I said quietly, "that cheating wasn't the crime here. It was the symptom, the real problem. You stopped choosing me long before you chose him." Her lips trembled. She whispered, "I know. And now," I continued, "I'm finally choosing myself." She broke down again, but I didn't move to comfort her. For the first time in our marriage, I let her feel the full weight of her decisions. Not out of cruelty, out of honesty. Later that night, after she cried herself to sleep on the couch, I went to the bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at the wall. The room felt different, lighter somehow. Not because I was happy, but because I was done carrying the burden alone. I thought about our early days, late-night drives, cheap takeout, laughing at stupid jokes, the way she used to grab my hand like it was instinct. Somewhere along the way, we stopped being partners and became strangers sharing groceries and bills. And now, the final thread had snapped. Maybe we'd try therapy. Maybe we'd separate. Maybe we'd end things quietly, like two people packing away memories. I didn't know. But for the first time in years, the uncertainty didn't terrify me. It almost felt like freedom. In the morning, she'd wake up wanting answers. And for once, I wouldn't be the man trying to fix everything. I'd just be the man finally telling the truth. I loved you. I really did. But I'm done begging to be loved back.